Well, it's been about a month since my last garden update. Boy, the farm has really taken off. Come with me and I'll show you what's up. This is one of my 5.5 rows of tomatoes I have this year. In fact, I have over 100 tomato plants planted here at the farm. I have a lot of different varieties. This particular row, I have 2 rows of, in fact, Better Boy. Better Boy has always been my traditional tomato I always depend on, so that's the one I plant the most of. In fact, I already have one ripening here right at the beginning of June, so I'm very pleased with that. I also have a lot of heirloom varieties. Better Boy is a hybrid tomato, meaning it was bred to resist certain diseases, these kind of things. If I save this seed from a Better Boy tomato, the tomato I get next year would not be a Better Boy, it would be a cross. However, for the hybrid or for the heirloom seeds, if I save a seed from an heirloom tomato, it will produce that same tomato next year. So the heirloom tomatoes I have this year are Brandywine, which is probably the most famous of all the tomatoes. I've heard it described as the tomato all other tomatoes want to grow up to taste like. I'm also have Black Krim and Cherokee Purple. Both of these are dark tomatoes, deep purple skin color when they're fully ripe. Also have Gold Medal, which is a gold tomato, and I have 4 cherry tomato plants, which are hybrid as well. They are not the heirloom like the others. Wow, the squash is really coming in. This is a yellow crookneck summer variety. We've already been gathering a lot off these plants. I have 7 plants. We've probably gathered maybe 10 somewhere, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together just off this one hill. Each of my 7 hills of squash have 2 plants each. Now, about a week ago, I planted another row of squash, so the time this plays out, I'll have some more squash coming in for the rest of the season. What you're looking at here is a row of potatoes. This particular variety is Red Pontiac. I actually have 2 other rows. A row this way over here of Kennebec, which is a white potato. This Red Pontiac is obviously a red potato. And then I have Yukon Gold several rows over, which is a delicious baking potato. The bell peppers are coming along nicely too. We've gathered several of those, and the jalapenos are doing pretty well as well. Well, the zucchini's coming in as well. This is about the perfect size of a zucchini. You don't really want it to get too big, or then it gets all seedy inside and doesn't taste near as good. This particular variety is Spineless Beauty. Very productive. We've already been gathering zucchinis, and we'll be gathering zucchinis for now on probably. Probably 1 or 2 hills is enough for a family. We have 7, but of course we're trying to sell off the farm as well. So we are planting more than normal people would need. You may have noticed that there's a discoloration on the leaves. It looks to me like a powdery mildew at first, but as I look closer, I see it looks like maybe some other disease. I'm not really going to worry about it because a healthy plant can resist on onset of a disease pretty easily. If it becomes a epidemic or something with the rest of the plants, maybe I'll worry about it. But right now, it doesn't seem to be affecting the productivity, so I'm just going to leave it be. One of the great things about having the farm and extra space is it allows me to indulge my passion for some of the vining crops that really my home garden was too small to have very many of. Here we're looking at a row of pumpkins. I love growing pumpkins. They're just one of my favorite vegetables. This particular variety is Autumn Gold, and you may have noticed something. I'm trying something new this year. This is bamboo. I cut it fresh, and I'm using it as a plant marker. This is an experiment for me. I suspect that the termites, which we have tons of termites in Georgia, will actually leave this alone. So I'll let you know at the end of the season how well this works. We have a lot of bamboo growing behind our house, which is not really a good thing, by the way. It's quite a weed. You would never want to plant bamboo because it's very invasive. But my pumpkins really seem to be doing well. I've already got small pumpkins on it, and I'm excited to wait to see how they turn out this fall. Well, I have 7 rows of sparsely populated corn here. Not very dense at all. It did not come up very well. I'm showing you this because I don't want you to think everything I touch is, always works wonderfully. So I'm sharing some of my failures with you as well. Corn, it will probably be okay. We'll probably get a few ears. I'm not too optimistic. This particular variety is How Sweet It Is, which we've grown before. It is a delicious corn. It's one of the super sugar corn, so it is very good if it produces. For corn, you need it to be pretty dense because it's wind pollinated, so it's very important to have the corn close together so that the wind can cross-pollinate the pollen in order to form the ears. However, I didn't get too discouraged. I have planted a second batch of corn to come in this fall. Come and I'll show you it. It's just now coming up. Well, here is my late season corn. This variety is called Trucker's Favorite. My uncle recommended this variety, so I'm anxious to see how it turns out. You can see it's starting to come up. It's probably maybe an inch high. All of it's looking good, so I'm pretty pleased. It has come up much thicker than my other variety, so I'm optimistic about this variety. If you're wondering what this string is with the pie pens on it, this is to help scare away the crows, which we have a lot of. In fact, that could be part of my problem with my other corn. Well, I'm also taking a little more devious tactic against the crows as well. If you watch my home garden, you know I've used electric fence for many years, and here at the farm I'm using electric fence. We have terrible deer problem here in Georgia, and deer would just kill my farm. So I have an electric fence that goes all the way around the farm to prevent anything from coming in getting my crops. Now, the bad thing about electric fence, and this is really the only fault I have with electric fence, is in my home garden I've actually killed several songbirds. Robins or whatever would be walking on the ground, and they would touch the bottom of my electric fence, and that would kill them. I've lost maybe about 3 that way. It's really tragic. I really hate that. However, I'm going to use that knowledge to help me combat against crows. So for my electric fence that's running this way, I've actually run 2 strands from this side of the electric fence to that side, through these poles and another set over here on the bottom line around my corn here. Now, my theory is if a crow likes to feast on my corn, and this is the optimal stage they like to feast, when it's just coming up, they'll pull it up and eat the kernel. They'll hit this electric fence and give them the shock of their life. Now, if you're a crow advocate, and have no fear, I don't think this would actually kill a crow, although I probably would not lose sleep if it did. Just because a crow is 3 to 4 times bigger than a robin. However, it probably would give them a pretty good jolt and hopefully keep them out of my farm or my garden. These are my cucumbers I'm growing. Again, these are another heirloom variety. This variety is called Climbing Japanese. And in fact, that is why I have the trellis. It is very much a climbing, like most cucumbers, unless they say bush, they probably are vining, so it really will appreciate the extra support it gets from the net. These are simple 1x1s constructed with a nylon net over them. I have left a gap at the bottom to allow me to hoe more easily and cultivate around the cucumbers. I got that idea from Donald. Very good advice. Well, it's not all vegetables here at the farm. We're growing some flowers as well. This is actually a sunflower. This particular variety is gigantus. It's supposed to grow huge and big, huge sunflowers, great for seeds for humans eating as well as attracting birds. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. In addition to these, Teresa has actually planted a lot of cut flowers in one of our beds. I'll show you that a little later in the season as they come up some more.